Welcome back to NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series Racing from Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, live here on Flow Racing. James Pike, Matthew Dillner, ready for the big show of the evening. The stars of the Brad's Golf Cars Modified Series are here to contest the big show of the evening, the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. So, 3 digits, 100 laps of racing. Let's take you to the starting lineup, and we will tell you where your favorite driver will be rolling off for our event. Big time shuffle in the draw, which sees Drew Moffitt out of Lexington, North Carolina, take pole. Kyle Southern out of Walnut Cove will roll off from P2. John Holloman, the 4th, out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, starts from the 3rd position, and Randy Butner from Bothtown, North Carolina, will start 4th.
Starting 5th tonight from Mount Airy, North Carolina, in the Surrey Chemicals machine. The backup machine tonight, the 99 for the showstopper, Chris Fleming. To the outside, starting 6th, a familiar blue and yellow family-owned number 14 for Trey Hutchins.
Lee Jeffries in the number 75 machine starts 7th. He's out of Wahlberg, North Carolina, and the 3rd generation racer Slate Myers. 4th, excuse me, yes, 4th generation Slate Myers out of Walnut Cove, North Carolina, and the 6th car this evening starts 8th.
Starting 9th today is Brian Lofton. Great to see Brian Lofton coming back in the Black Sand Company car from Clemens, North Carolina, the backup car to John Holloman. And to the outside, Dad. Yes, from Walnut Cove, North Carolina. Not Brian Lofton's dad, but Slate Myers' dad. The Peanut Patch number 1, 93-time winner, Burt Myers.
The other half of the 3rd generation of the Myers family, Jason Myers, in the 4 car, rolls off from the 11th. He's from Walnut Cove. To his outside, the defending Bowman Gray track champion in the modifieds, the New Day Motorsports 04 machine, starting 12th. It's Brandon Ward out of Winston-Salem.
Starting in lucky position number 13 tonight from Monroe, North Carolina, the units 00. It's the Flying Taco, Danny Probst. Starting to the outside, King, North Carolina, the beautiful number 10 machine for Mike Spini.
Skip Flores, some people know him as Skip, some people know him as Ryan, but he rolls off from the 15th position in the 79 machine to his outside out of King, North Carolina. It's the 7-car Junior Snow.
Starting 17th, a kid who has surprised them all this season in the NASCAR Brad's Golf Cars Modified Division in the Jerry Johnson Motors, number 13. It's Mount Airy's Jordan Fleming. And to the outside, the 07, the breakfast time machine from Walkertown, North Carolina. It's the real deal, Riley Neal.
Starting in 19th out of Zabaccaville, North Carolina, the multi-time track champion, the number 83, the Rocket, Tim Brown. And the 48 machine out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, starting in 20th, Robbie Brewer starts 20th.
All right, starting 21st tonight in the Wahlberg Pizza Grill, number 77. It's the lovely Susan Harwell. To the outside, the number 35 of Brandon Butner.
Corey Levetch out of Winston-Salem in the 41 machine starts 23rd, and shotgun on the field, the driver that took the fans challenge and is racing for some cash this evening out of Mooresville, North Carolina, the 50 of Danny Bone.
Let's go to Randy and family.
Drivers, start your engine!
All right, there, the 600 horsepower mod is fired back to life, and it is the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100 getting set for you. And you look at that 57 car right back there. There's a reason we're showing you the car starting dead last tonight. That driver elected to take what's called the Fans Challenge and start in the rear of this field of 24 race cars. And if Danny Bone, the driver of that 57, makes it back up to that top 4, he will get a $3,000 bonus.
And you qualify top 4, you clearly have speed, and that's not a surprise. He's a former track champion here. He's got one of the best pieces in the field week in and week out. But there's so many variables that go into taking the Fans Challenge, and so many things that you can't control.
Yeah.
Especially when you're racing with this many cars on a track this small. So part of it is skill, for sure, and the ability and the talent and the car and strength of the car to get back up there. But part of it's also just the luck of making sure you don't get caught up in someone else's incident and pick up damage that may derail your opportunity in earning the cash.
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch him, and it'll be really cool because, you know, the top 4 drivers, Burt Myers said no. Chris Fleming said no. Your pole sitter, Tim Brown, said heck no. So Danny Bone, the only one willing to take that fans challenge, and he comes here to these big races, the 100 lappers, with the intention of doing so. But folks, Burt Myers and them could have said yes, and there's a full field redraw anyway. So right now, Burt Myers is starting, where is he starting? Right there in 10th position, so not bad for Burt Myers, but remember, complete redraw. So now that puts Drew Moffitt on the pole, a great position for him. It's cool to see Randy Butner as well will be starting on the second row. Randy Butner, winner last week. And I'll tell you what, Randy Butner and I were talking before the race, and we got to bring this up. He asked me to bring this up. You went to the Kentucky Derby last week, and he was like, Dillner, did you see the pictures? What the heck was he wearing? What were you wearing? Were you wearing a big hat and colorful stuff? Supposedly it was pretty colorful.
Not particularly, just
I'm going to see a picture.
A tan seersucker suit, as you do. You get dressed up.
Seersucker suit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, because it's warm. It was like 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So, and a little birthday.
I want you to wear that here at Bowman Gray. Let's do it. Well, folks, the 600 horsepower ground pounders are ready to take the green. Folks, these are the drivers that live by the grace of God and 600 horsepower. The Kevin Powell Motorsports 100 is underway.
A good start there from Moffitt, but John Holloman all over his rear bumper before they even get back to the north turn. And that means Kyle Southern will take the lead as they stack up behind them and work out this first lap and sort out everybody. Also worth noting that Tim Brown started 19th. Not necessarily outright 24th, but almost would have been to his advantage, I think, maybe to take the fans challenge because he's starting back there anyway.
Kyle Southern in the lead. You see Danny Probst there. Man, he's got his hands full. There's the 13 car. Now we look at Ryan Skip Flores' car. There's damage on the 57 car now. The 57 car of Danny Bone. I'm seeing big smoke from the 57 car.
Everybody racing for a position here. Burt Myers and company there working their way through the field as we'll slide back and you get a good look
at
there.
It. The Nerf bar making huge contact. I don't think that right rear is going to last there, Pike.
Will it? That's a big question. But yes, it's all the damage on the right rear. You can see all the smoke and the tires just about ready to go here. I'm sort of with you on that. And that's, we talk about it. It's luck versus skill. And sometimes the bad luck hits you when you start in the back. And I have no doubt that was all the product of everybody checking up, bouncing off of each other. They accordioned into the north turn on that first lap, and everybody had to stack it up, and that's where the damage came from for Danny Bone.
Danny Bone, who has won the Fans Challenge. He won it last year at the opening race. The Hayes Jewelers, no, it was the opening 100. It was this race last season. So now he slows on the backstretch and he was going to take it into the pit area. Now he's choosing to keep on driving that number 57 machine. Oh, that is not going to be good. The 57, I think, is done. We are 7 laps into this contest, single file all the way around. Kyle Southern is your leader in the L&R Transmissions, number 9. Drew Moffitt now hanging on. There is the 57 spinning in a cloud of smoke in the north turn.
And caught the fence there, too. I wonder if there's any damage to the left front suspension of that machine. It wasn't heavy contact, but he definitely made a little bit with the guardrail over in turn 4, the end and the exit, I suppose, of the clubhouse turn, the north turn here at Bowman Gray Stadium. But there you see the stricken machine of Danny Bone trying to work its way back around and get a break here amongst the field to get back in the right direction.
That tire's not flat. Huh. Well, yellow flag regardless. And you know what yellow flags mean? You know what yellow flags mean? The best break in the history of Bowman Gray Stadium, because I missed these so bad last week. I was solo and I didn't have little donuts, but hey, let's look at the replay right here. So this is more important right here. Danny Bone going into the turn. No flat on that right rear, but he goes in a little hot and just a little loop-de-loo right there for Mr. Danny Bone.
So the first thing I noticed, and you saw it a little bit on the shot of Bone's car just before we went to replay, that I don't think the wheel was impacted. The damage came to that cowling, that front opening right by the radiator.
Yeah, but that didn't make him spin.
Right. It didn't make him spin, but I wasn't sure whether or not there was any damage based on the contact he made with the wall. So there's no damage there, but there's still that damage with the Nerf bar on the right rear.
And they'll go behind the wall here, and they'll pry that thing away, and they'll put they'll put a new right rear tire on that, I believe. So because that thing was wore down probably pretty good. So hey, you know, Dillner's excited here because finally Little Donuts are back. I was solo up here, Pike. You weren't here last week. You were off at Churchill Downs, and I sat up here by myself, donutless, and now Zach has brought the Little Donuts up here. And boy, oh boy, we're going to give you our driver spotlight here in a second as we look at the 57 behind the pits right there going to work. And, you know, I think we should do a driver spotlight. But before we even do the driver spotlight, let's give a spotlight to Little Donuts. Best concession stand food. And Bowman Gray Stadium has some cool concessions, but there's none cooler than sitting up here in the booth, eating some Little Donuts. The Little Donuts car just won the stadium stock race.
Tasty.
Caution laps do count. 12 laps. Tick on the board.
Tasty, tasty, tasty indeed. And yes, caution, that is worth noting here. So, scored on lap 12 of 100.
And there is a spotlight this week on Flow Racing. Jordan Fleming, second-generation driver, of course, his uncle, Frank Fleming, a 21-time winner. Chris Fleming, 17-time winner, and he's looking to get his first win. Talking to him was really cool. He loves to farm, and what I thought was cool, he had some mini donkeys. I like donkeys, hee-haw! But mini donkeys, those things are cool. But here's the coolest thing. He's unapologetically a Nickelback fan. Listens to Nickelback every day. Listens to Nickelback, so is Justin Mincy. He's celebrating right now. Listens to Nickelback before the races. So don't be hating on my guy Jordan here. It's okay, folks, to like Nickelback. Where did this trend start from that nobody likes Nickelback? I think it's hogwash. Let's go, Nickelback. And let's go, Jordan Fleming. Salute to you, our modified spotlight here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Lights are out on top of the pace vehicle. That means we are going double file because double file will make you smile. Kevin Powell, Motorsports 100. Coming back to green, Kyle Southern with the 69 who chose the outside. John Holloman, great jump there off the north turn. Southern sends it in there, hard into the wall. Wow. He sent it in there a ton and basically head on into the wall. Hard impact for the driver of that number 9.
Southern with a lot of damage to the right front. There's a lot to process.
Huge
off
impact.
Of that incident. Big contact there as well for Kyle Southern.
Here comes the Flow Racing replay. Southern on the bottom. Doesn't have a great angle, and man, he flies in there, and that thing just went straight. I don't know if something broke.
Okay, so the big thing I think worth noting here is two things. One, there is precipitation falling on the track that started about the time we went green flag racing. But the other thing I noticed, Matthew, is that John Holloman beat Kyle Southern to the line.
Yes.
But recognized it and tried to check up to give the spot back.
You
because
think?
he was very slow into one.
You see it right there. Look at the camera shot. There is slick on that track, so I think that's what really caused it.
And maybe was checking up also because he knew it was raining too. And I'm not sure if Southern had a feel, I guess, understood how wet the track got, because it got wet very quickly. And so I think it's a weird combination of Holloman was trying to give the spot back. Southern was trying to just drive it in normally in the inside, but didn't realize that he didn't have the grip that he needed to be able to make the corner normally. And then just went a little bit wide and made contact with Holloman. And once he made the contact with Holloman, it was all done from there pretty much.
Man, there is the long, lonely walk.
That's
you hate to see that for Kyle Southern. So Justin Link working on that car. He worked so hard on that number 9 machine, Pike, and that's a walk no race car driver wants to make right there.
I feel for Kyle Southern because that truly is a unlikely combination of circumstances there. That's not something that you normally see. So an unfortunate situation, but not something we see often here at the Madhouse. We are going to go to a break, and we'll be back with more action from the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100 here. You're watching NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series Racing from Bowman Gray Stadium, live on Flow Racing.
Winston-Salem, North Carolina is a city with a rich history of reinventing itself. Here you can wine and dine back in time, or raise a glass to the future. Witness history in the making, or savor the present moment. That's why you'll love visiting Winston-Salem. Our past is present, our future is bright, and our city is yours to explore. Look forward. Travel back to Winston-Salem.
Welcome back to a little bit of a damp Bowman Gray Stadium, but it already looks like the precipitation has stopped, looking at the lights. And you know what? That's a good thing, folks, because last time it was a 16-minute break before we got this track surface dry. I expect, because the surface, we really didn't lose the surface altogether. This is not a very wet racetrack. So don't sit there and sit there and tune off. Don't do it, because we're coming back racing here, because the R word has stopped and these cars on the track. Let's give you a look at the NASCAR Brad's Golf Cars Modifieds point standings.
So the first thing I noticed here, two things, and we sort of pointed out before we went green flag racing. The first, look at three of your top four. All three drivers were in the battle for the championship last year. But you mentioned it, with the great start as a rookie. Now, when you're part of the Fleming family, I don't know if you could truly be a rookie in the, I guess, realistic sense, because you have all the experience with Chris and Frank and everybody, or Frank rather, and everybody that's run the stadium before. So it's not like he's completely new to the stadium. But to the most competitive division, the top division here at Bowman Gray, and to be that quick, that early, and to have that kind of success, absolutely worth noting. Whether or not he can maintain it over the course of a full season remains to be seen, but that's a promise. And to have that little experience in the mountain, be that high up in the standings at any point, much less early on, it's not easy to do. So credit to Jordan.
I'll tell you what's cool, too, is him and his brother have worked so on that modified themselves at their family shop, at the family farm. We talked about the farm with the cattle, with the mini donkeys, but that's where the family shop is, and that's where that car is housed, and they work on that, the two brothers together. To see him up there in third in points, the kid's only got now 13 starts, career starts, so 10 career starts going into this season. So there's a discrepancy on if he's a rookie or contending for the Rookie of the Year. So we'll figure that out here in time, because right now he'd be in the top of that deal right now. So, but Jordan Fleming, I don't think he started more than a few starts a season. So I think by law of the rules, he would be considered a Rookie of the Year contender. Of course, the big one, Slate Myers, you see him 9th in points. And, of course, Riley Neal, the other one of the big contenders for this season in the rookie title.
And names that have been around at the stadium, too. Neal, yes. Obviously, Tommy, yes. Myers, Slate, right? You're seeing the next generation of racers from those families come up and start to really make a name for themselves, A. B, the other thought that I had, well, two thoughts, rather. J.O. Robinson Jr. in 10th.
And he's not here today.
And not racing.
Yep,
so
motor
that
troubles.
Hurts. A. B. Given that Jordan Fleming is a Nickelback fan, do we believe that he would love to go up to Eric Messer at some point during the season
The track photographer.
and hold him a picture and say, look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh because it's a photograph of him and Carolina Wood Floors Victory Lane.
Oh, like that photo wouldn't make him laugh. He'd say, look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me cry. Because I know how much it would mean for him to visit Victory Lane here in at Bowman Gray Stadium. His family is so entrenched here. I'm going to get a text from Chris Fleming. Because Chris Fleming, I'll say weird things. Y'all know me. I say some stupid things up here in the booth, like flabbergasted or throttle jockeys. And, slobber knuckle was one the other week that Chris texted me when he was watching replays. Like, what the heck is a slobber knuckle? I don't know, folks, but it just comes out. So anyway, you see some umbrellas. The precipitation has stopped. The tow truck 200 is underway, and shortly we will be back to the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. So just go get a lemonade. Go get a little donut if you're watching from your phone here at the stadium. Heck, go get a snack, but don't go too far because we will be back momentarily with the modified division and all the action from the Madhouse.
With 8 acres of new and pre-owned vehicles, Modern Chevrolet is your Chevy headquarters for the best sales and service. They also rent cars, trucks, vans, SUVs, and buses. Modern Chevrolet is located at 5955 University Parkway in Winston-Salem, and for 26 years, they've been the proud sponsor of the Bowman Gray Stadium Pace Car. Family owned since 1933, Modern Chevrolet. Experience the modern difference. Fans, your attention, please. A set of car keys and a fob has been turned in to the press box. They were found at the parking lot across Martin Luther King Boulevard. So that would be the parking lot behind the east entrance. Keys and key fob were found in the parking lot across Martin Luther King Boulevard right behind the east gate. Those keys are in the press box. You're going to need them to get home tonight. They're in the press box. Visit Winston-Salem is proud to support Bowman Gray Racing and the legendary quarter mile that has thrilled locals and visitors for 76 years. And it's not slowing down anytime soon. Explore visitwinstonsalem.com to discover more local favorites. Visit Winston-Salem. Look forward, travel back. Do you see see what's going on out there, Randy Bulliam? I want you to look right there at the race between these records and between these different businesses of records. Should we just call this? But let's do this. Race fans, let me hear ya! Race fans, be glad to hear this. The records have been called in again. We're going to go racing once again.
Welcome back to coverage of the Madhouse, Bowman Gray Stadium and NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series Racing from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. James Pike here, and Matthew Dillner. You love history. You are a certified history buff.
I love history more than Little Donuts.
That's a statement.
Yeah, I
statement.
swear I do.
Right. But Bertie tells me that you may have a little nugget for us as you see.
Oh my God!
The
Look
track
at him
crew.
hammering it.
Yeah, the track crew
Is that
here.
Squeak? It is Squeak. Look at Squeak, man. Don't judge a book by its cover. Squeak is a little guy, right? But that dude is throwing the hammer, throwing the crowbar. Look at that. That's some sweat equity right there in turn number one. The hard-working track crew led by Jimmy Brown doing a fantastic job making some repairs to the wall after Kyle Southern hit it.
So
what were we saying?
We'll have that repair ongoing. And credit to the Bowman Gray track crew.
Oh, we're about to go back to green.
set up.
The drivers are loading in their cars. So, folks, if you're watching, the modifieds are going to be hitting the track momentarily.
But you have a history nugget that you'd like to share, and that's where I was going.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, let's do it. Let's talk about Mr. May, okay? There's Mr. September, Reggie Jackson. But let's talk about Mr. May here at Bowman Gray Stadium. In the May of 1959, the hottest driver here at Bowman Gray was a Kannapolis, North Carolina driver. On May 2nd, 1959, that chauffeur thrilled 3,500 fans here in a 6-event program. Okay, 6-event, not 6 divisions, 2 divisions. So we had heat races and then the features. On May 2nd, the first heat race was won by Leakesville, North Carolina's Perk Brown over Whitey Norman and Dink Whitehouse. Okay, the finishing 4th in that heat was some guy named Ralph Earnhardt. Yeah, Red Hot George Dunn took the flag in the 2nd heat race. But in the hobby division, this is where it gets cool. In the hobby division feature event that night, Winston-Salem's Bill Scott, not to be confused with National Dirt Late Model Hall of Famer, South Carolina's Bill Scott, won the race, won 5 races and won a championship that year, 20-lap race. Now the main event, on to the main event. May 1959, May 2nd. Perk Brown, 45, famous black and white number 45, was running away with it until lap 35, 33. Bad stat guy right there. But Perk's right rear wheel collapsed on his car, and that opened the door for that guy named Ralph Earnhardt. Ralph beat Glenn Wood, NASCAR Hall of Famer, and Buren Skeen to the line to score his 2nd straight win at the stadium. In all, 4 wins at Bowman Gray Stadium for the great Ralph Earnhardt, another member of the National Dirt Late Model Hall of Fame. All those victories, 4 coming in 1959, and 3 of the 4 coming in the month of May. Mr. May, Ralph Earnhardt at Bowman Gray. 59 was a magical year for Ralph and for Bill Scott. 2 great friends, by the way. Billy Scott and Ralph Earnhardt were great friends. Not Bill Scott. I don't even know if Bill Scott and Ralph knew each other. But Billy Scott and Ralph did. Billy Scott, of course, we lost him this year. One of the true gentlemen of the sport of dirt late model racing and stock cars here in the Southeast, and a great, great human being.
They knew each other. They raced at Metro Lima.
Oh, what Billy Scott and Ralph did?
Yeah, well,
But Bill Scott did?
yeah.
Bill Scott raced at Metro Lima.
Yes.
Well, Justin Mincy says, okay, so Ralph Earnhardt knew Billy and Bill Scott. All right, you guys at home are probably going, what the heck is going on right here? Because the modifieds have hit the track. I'm done dorking out with random history notes, but hopefully you history buffs get a kick out of that because this place is chock full of history.
I'm trying to process it all and appreciate it all, and I feel like I'm going to struggle here. Because those are it's great information, great stories. It just takes a lot to really absorb that. So,
well, let's absorb something else.
yeah.
Like I said, since you can't absorb the history, I
Well,
threw
not
a
that
lot at
quickly.
you, dude.
You
Not that
did,
quickly.
you did,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. This
But-
mind is a labyrinth of odd things. And Mincy and I, in our spare time, literally do some weird things. Like to me, looking up a like history nugget from like a hobby division at Bowman Gray Stadium in 1959 is fun. Some people go, I want to go mini golfing. Some people go, I want to watch Dynasty reruns. Okay, I sit on a computer. Justin Mincy's the same way. We nerd. It's okay to be a nerd.
You know what rerun I would like to watch?
Dallas? Dallas is a great show.
Dallas is a great show. Matches too. But I want to watch a rerun of Zach Staley
Oh, let's do it.
2 weeks ago.
Let's do it.
With the way he got the crowd pumped up, because that was so impressive. You see the hand out the window. That's what starts all this. If you're trying to break this down, none of this happens if Zach Staley does not have his hand out the window under caution, pumping the fans up to get the lights the way they did. And then he held
of
on
course,
to win the race too.
yeah, I mean, the track PA, too. Chris was like, unbelievable job there and feeding this moment. Look at that, dude. Like Dale Earnhardt Jr. said, Zach Staley climbed out looking like dang ZZ Top. He had his Marlboro, excuse me, not his Marlboro, his Camel cigarettes, which he's famous for. You know, he's got the Camel on the back of the trailer, back of the tow vehicle right there. And Zach Staley, man, he's a character. Make sure after you watch this, and you didn't get to watch the whole thing, but you watched the open of it, our little piece on Flow Racing. What you think?
A fabulous looking piece on Zach Staley, the outlaw, who is one of
the
the
outlaw.
true unique competitors. I think Dale Jr.'s post on X was, I believe, trying to remember exactly the phrasing, but it was ZZ Top looking driver with an open face helmet and all.
And
I
smoking
think.
his cigs, man, bubble goggles. You got to love it. Bowman Gray Stadium is full of characters. It's full of color. It's full of flair. And guess what? It's going to be full of modified racing coming up here shortly. The track is dry, and we're waiting for all the drivers to revisit the racetrack here. We're pushing a few out. We're making a few last-minute things. And Lee Jeffries, I heard, did not start. They were pushing that car around. But we are finishing up track drying, and we will be back with the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100 very shortly. Let's take a commercial break. There we go. The scoreboard says it all. Drew Moffitt, the number 51 at the point. So is the number 69 of John Holloman. 20 laps into this Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. Let's give a shout out to Jason Snoop Lowe, watching from Des Moines, Iowa, for the first time on Flow Racing. He's going to be watching Jordan Atkins tonight. He's a big Jordan Atkins fan. Let's also give a shout out to Marjorie. Marjorie's I hope my biggest fan. Well, no, she likes Pike better because it's Pike's mom. She's watching from home right now, so it's okay. You should like Pike better than me. But anyway, this is a 100-lapper for the NASCAR Brad's Golf Cars Modifieds. And here's the other plot to throw at you. Okay. Double file choose cone restart. So Brett Moffitt will likely choose the inside. Drew Moffitt. God, did I say Brett Moffitt again? You can hit me in the head. Hey, let's start $1 for every time I say Brett Moffitt, because I've known Brett Moffitt for longer than Drew. And every time I say Brett Moffitt, I give $1 to Drew Moffitt. How about that, folks? We'll do that. But Drew Moffitt will is at the point here, so he'll likely choose the inside. So the choose cone will be interesting, Pike, for these 100-lap features.
Also, another point that I forgot to mention earlier with regards to the generational racers here at the stadium. Brandon Butner counts as part of that group, too.
Oh, yeah. Okay, him and father and son on the track.
See the field line up here, and our wonderful scoring team at Bowman Gray will get everybody organized and set up and put in the correct order. And
laps do count too, buddy.
Yes.
So we're on 23 coming to 24 right now.
Caution laps do count, so once they have all of that sorted, then we'll get the choose cone, then we'll go back to green flag racing.
The NASCAR Modifieds, man. 600 horsepower beasts. Air cleaner sticking out at the top of the thing. Big tires. Big Nerf bars. Big bumpers. These are curvaceous, beautiful racing machines.
And they slide on corner exit. I think one of the coolest things here, if you ever get the chance to come to the stadium, which you should at some point in your life if you haven't had the opportunity to do so, no matter where you're from, is the choose cones out. Just stand on the exit of one of the corners or sit over in the stands by the exit of 2 and watch these cars slide. They put so much power in to get off the corner. Fabulous thing to watch.
It sure is, buddy. Choose cone is out. And we're about to go back to green. We will be coming to lap number 26. Little update for you as well. Tim Brown is way back in the field right now. He started 19th. I believe he's somewhere around the 15th position right now. But Drew Moffitt will bring it back to green. Moffitt to the inside. Holloman to the outside. Fires to the gas. Green flag is back out. The drag race into the south turn. Holloman from the outside gets it done. Give Holloman the lead.
Superman to the point at Bowman Gray, and look at who is trying to follow his lead on the outside line. Almost a big moment there in the corner for Brandon Ward. He made contact with Drew Moffitt and had to check up, and that's allowed Chris Fleming to get to the inside. Here comes Jason Myers. Burt Myers is there too.
Wow, what a battle on right now. There is Chris Fleming, that red number 99, the gray car of defending champion. And right behind him, and then of course right there, the number 4 of Jason Myers. Some close comfort right there with side-by-side racing at Bowman Gray. Oh, we got a spinner. I made a bet with Ryan Flores that if he qualified outside of the top 10, he'd owe me 2 hot dogs. Well, I should have made a bet with this. If you spin out, maybe I get a filet mignon. But Corey LaJoy's buddy, Corey LaJoy, joined us in the booth. They both co-host the Stacking Pennies podcast on the NASCAR platform. And Flores has spun around. One of the most winningest TQ racers of this generation. And I'll tell you what, he is spectacular in those race cars.
Those are shows that I haven't had the chance to go see,
so
but
good.
I would love to get up that way, catch them once. They look like so much fun.
They're incredible, twitchy and a lot of power. Let's see this replay in the distance. We could just see he's on the outside there, and I kind of just locked wheels a little bit with the 14 of Trey Hutchins. Third generation driver. Talking about generations, it's great to see Trey Hutchins back.
You know, fun little point here.
Make the point while I haven't done it.
We'll give Skip Flores credit because he helped to set up our speed shot in turn 4 this evening.
So the camera that just caught him spinning was the camera he helped set up? Skippy, that's like hitting for the cycle, buddy.
Well,
great job. That's a team player.
I think that's just creativity. And
I think he wanted to test his shot.
Well, not even test his shot, but ensure that he got that 79 car on camera.
Oh, cone is out.
Right?
Cone is out. Let's see what's going to happen. You know Holloman's going to choose the inside, buddy. And I think Brett Moffitt. I'm going to predict Drew Moffitt. $2 for Drew Moffitt. Drew's going to pick the inside. Yes, he does. Chris Fleming to the top side. So is Brandon Ward. Jason Myers to the bottom.
Bird up
Burt
top.
Myers.
Bird up top. Junior Snow going high.
Junior Snow going to make a few spots.
Jordan Fleming, Tim Brown, Slate Myers.
Some fast cars on the top right now.
Everybody
Wow.
else in 32 laps on the board, coming to 33 here for this restart.
Slowly, they pace through the north turn. Coming to lap 33, Holloman, Fleming to the throttle. Drew Moffitt spins into the grass. Side by side go the leaders off of turn number 2. Power move on the outside for the showstopper. He's doing it the hard way. Now a big crash in the north turn. Jason Myers spins around. Speeney, Tim Brown, Jordan Fleming. So many involved. Riley Neal. That is a slobber knockle.
Not even a slobber knocker, but a slobber novel. I can't even say it.
Don't even try.
Yeah, that is part
I
of
think
the
Brandon
Matthew Dinner
Butner,
book.
actually, no, that's not Brandon. That's Randy Butner in the number 5 car right there. Junior Snow, his hard luck continues. He's involved. Danny Probst, the Flying Taco, just stopped. He didn't wreck. So Trey Hutchins is stopped in turn number 3. Let's look at the Flow Racing replay right here. Oh, it looks like Junior Snow might have gotten, we need to see that one more time if we can, might have gotten into the back of the QRC HVAC number 4.
Everybody stopped. Everybody stopped pretty quickly. I don't think too many cars got extensive damage in that, though, especially because it was on corner entry and right after a restart. So they were already sort of bunched up anyway.
Danny Bone up to 6th position. No, he isn't. I don't see him on the racetrack. He just pulled off. Here's the replay. Let's look at this. Man, that's really hard to tell what happened right there, but a little contact from the pink bumper to the backside of Jason Myers' number 4 car. And around goes Myers. You see Mike Speeney involved, the 10 car as well. About 9 cars involved in that caution. There is Trey Hutchins bringing his family-owned number 14 car behind the field house for service.
So Hutchins will get that car fixed upon and worked up. Junior Snow, Jason Myers getting together. The reason for the most recent caution. We are still only on lap 35 of 100 here at Bowman Gray. So time for this. And then let's not forget that once this race finishes, we have the longest race of the year. The Thunder Road Bar and Grill Street Stock 50 lappers.
Longest race for them. Yeah.
For the QRC HVAC Refrigeration Street Stock Series, but their biggest race of the year.
Huge.
So,
these Street Stock guys qualified today. These guys this is a race that they look forward to all year.
Mm-hmm.
This is their time to shine.
And arguably the best championship battle last year.
Oh my gosh, it was like down to 3 drivers at the end, only separated by a few points, and Christian Joyce, of course, coming out, only separated by like 8 points, I think it was. It was incredible, but the cone is out right now. Great view right here from your Flow Racing cameras, nice and wide right there as we see the cars enter your frame. And of course, Chris Fleming on the bottom. Holloman takes the top. Burt Myers, the 2nd car to take the top.
Tim Brown up there, Junior Snow up there. You know who else got a break as a result of this yellow?
Who?
Drew Moffitt was about to lose all that track position.
How did Jason Myers get up there? Jason Myers chose the outside. Wow! Jason Myers chose the outside, and because nobody else did, he is back up to the 6th position on the outside. That black number 4 car. Now to the restart. Fleming on the bottom. Little bit of contact there. Now they go into the north turn. Holloman's got the lead, and they're going to call it off.
So the restart gets waved off. They will re-rack this field and try it once again. And everybody in this stadium on their feet. That's one thing I noticed as we come back to the stripe, back to green flag racing. Better start now as Holloman tries to take the outside and tried to pinch Chris Fleming down and couldn't quite get clear. So Fleming will be there on the inside as they come back to the north turn. And then Burt Myers and Brandon Ward door to door for the 3rd and 4th positions as Fleming and Holloman continue to fight, and there's contact, and there goes Holloman up the racetrack. He'll lose spots to Ward, to Myers, and go all the way back to 4th or maybe 5th if Jason can get around him too.
I was about to say 2x2, great side-by-side racing, but this is such close quarters racing here. Contact happened, and Holloman was the victim. Here comes the number 4 into P4. for Jason Myers. A great recovery, choosing the outside and then making a great run there on the restart. A spin in the north turn. Randy Butner's number 5 has gone around. Lap 42, Butner's number 5 spins around and brings out yet another call. 811 before you dig. Caution flag.
Quick spin, though. Doesn't look like there's any damage on that white and orange number 5 machine. Pretty distinctive colors. Not too many people have used white and orange.
God, I love that car.
But yes. Good
what a great guy, too. He is one of the elder statesmen and, you know, somebody that's a close personal friend to you and your family. But just a guy that we just got, a little contact. I guess there was a little contact that caused that spin from Ryan Flores, is number 79, and Randy Butner, who usually doesn't show too much emotion, very clean race car driver. I've seen it from time to time, gets into the back of Ryan Flores' 79.
You're right, that's rare. Randy's not one to show that kind of displeasure often, so if you get into Randy and you get that sort of reaction, it usually means you did something pretty big. Is the choose cone is back out. And Skip Flores is one more driver that isn't exactly a fan, it would seem.
Brandon Ward to the outside now. Look at that. This is going to set up one heck of a restart, dude.
So lots of drivers in that outside line with speed, with power, with all sorts of experience and skill here at Bowman Gray Stadium, as we'll go back to racing on lap 44. Better restart for Chris Fleming. Brandon Ward going to try and do the same thing in clear. Can't make it happen, so they'll fight door to door for second. Burt Myers just got third lockdown pretty quickly. Holloman to his inside, and they continue to race for the lead as they are right on top of each other, and the yellow flag comes out yet again.
This time it's Drew Moffitt and Randy Butner involved in the north turn. Spin cycle. Quickie yellow again. We're going to probably re-rack them and do the very quickly here. I'm looking at to the left, and they're already calling for the quickie yellow here. Keep this show rolling here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Waiting to see whether or not we'll get the cone next time, I believe.
I think so.
This time, no. Next time, likely. And now Drew Moffitt loses all the track position that he had and then lost off that restart where he got loose out of 4. So now he's finally back there.
I'll tell you another thing for you fans watching at home, okay? When we came back to green originally, I think it was like 20-something laps in from that rain delay, Lee Jeffries' car, we kind of briefly mentioned it did not start. Tried to get a push start and would not start, so Lee Jeffries dropped out of the race about then. So one of the favorites here for this 100 lapper. So, you know, plot thickens. I think Tim Brown, one of the favorites here, is in 7th position, so he's slowly making his way up through the field as the cars circulate around the football field where Winston-Salem State University, the Rams, play here in Winston-Salem and on that football field. But hey, this stadium is most known for NASCAR-style stock car racing since 1949. It's been happening here. NASCAR has been a fabric of the Winston-Salem community, and this place has been a cornerstone of NASCAR grassroots racing since then. The first and the original and the longest-running NASCAR weekly racing series track. Cone is out.
Cone is out as drivers will choose their places. Also, for those who watched the Truck Series broadcast last night, if you caught it, in his interview after he unfortunately wrecked out of the race, Raja Caruth was wearing a Winston-Salem State hat. He, of course, is a student in the Motorsports Management program at Winston-Salem State, going to graduate in December.
All right. Jimmy Absher pulls the modern Chevrolet Pace vehicle to the end zone at Bowman Gray Stadium, and now in the north turn, coming to halfway in the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. Great jump on the outside by Brandon Ward. The great car rocketing on the outside. Here comes Chris Fleming fighting on the bottom. Side by side, your top 8 competitors at Bowman Gray Stadium. Fleming gets a good run out of the north turn and now down to the south turn. Ward is going to be in trouble because here comes Burt Myers.
Burt Myers did not get a good run, though, through the center of the corner, so he'll have to try again to make this pass in the north turn. He'll stay alongside Brandon Ward. They slide around on corner exit, and now Burt Myers has got second with one driver left to go before he completes the charge from 10th to 1st. It is Chris Fleming, Burt Myers, and a whole host of drivers fighting for the 5th position as well, just a little bit further back.
Oh, man, there's some side-by-side racing going on right there. Speedy, there comes Holloman, and Tim Brown is stuck on the outside, but he's really elbows up, gritting the bit between his teeth, trying to motor that car on the outside of John Holloman, doing it the hard way around the north turn. Tim Brown putting on a show here in the Hayes Jewelers 83.
And Holloman not giving him any sort of room whatsoever as you get a good look at both battles here. Battle for the lead on the left-hand side of your screen. That battle for 5th between Holloman and Brown on the right-hand side of your screen. And contact between the two, and Tim Brown hits the fence. Yellow flag is out, and the fans are all on their feet. Some cheering, some jeering. It's a mixed reaction, but everybody, I think, has something to say about what they just saw.
Tim Brown, 12-time champion at Bowman Gray Stadium, with contact to the outside wall. Looks like some right side damage to the tie rod on that number 83 machine. Oh, what a turn of events here in the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100 for one of the perennial favorites, championship favorites, and race favorites, a 98-time winner at Bowman Gray Stadium. Let's look at the Flair Racing replay. Holloman to the inside. Here comes the 83, trying to pinch him down a little in the turn. Doesn't do so. Holloman hits the turtles. Holloman hit the turtles, and the car jutted up, made contact with Brown, and that's what happened. We were driving around, Pike, before the race, before qualifying and all that, in my car, because we went out to get some hot dogs. And when you hit those turtles, man, it upsets a street car, let alone a race car.
I can only think of how difficult that would be doing it at about, what, 7 to 8 times the speed that we were going over it, I think?
Yes.
Because I think we went over at about, 20 miles an hour?
Yeah.
And it was pretty bumpy then. It felt like you were on a gravel road. So to do that even harder, you have to catch it. It's hard. It's tricky. And ultimately, Tim Brown was just in the wrong place at the wrong time more than anything else.
Yeah.
Holloman tried to save it as much as he could. I don't think he intentionally tried to get into Brown. But if you end up there, and Holloman had to swing wider than necessary to make it through the corner because they were racing so hard, sometimes you end up on the wrong side of things.
And there's Tim taking a look at the damage on the right front of that machine. Great to see Ben Brown this week, his brother, who's had a little bit of health problems lately, and just a really, really good person, and somebody that loves modified racing here at the stadium. I know how much it hurt him not being here and watching it live on Flow last week, but it was great to see him back at Bowman Gray. There is Tim Brown assessing the damage on the Hayes Jewelers number 83. The night is over for Tim Brown. Here's a quick look at the replay again. He pinched him down a little bit on the straightaway, but gave him plenty of room there on the bottom, did Tim Brown. See right there, hit the turtles, the thing got loose, and it chased it right up. And when you make contact with wheel to wheel in a modified, in an open wheel machine, it can knock the wheel right out of your hands.
Mm-hmm. And then if you're Tim, in that case, you have nothing to do because you can't even catch it before you end up stuck up against the fence. As Tim will get back in the car, and he will make that very lonely ride on the back of the record to the pits. Done for the night is the multi-time champion of modified racing here at Bowman Gray Stadium.
Look at this. Look at this. This is your. This definitely benefits Burt Myers, who's your points leader right now. This is going to be a big hit in the points for the driver, that number 83, and you see the fans cheering and jeering the polarizing driver, the number 83.
Tim Brown there. I saw him looking at the damage, and knowing Tim the way I do, that was Tim already figuring out, okay, what parts do we need to replace? What sort of things do we need to do to fix the thing for next week? Tim is nothing if not a meticulous driver, and wrencher too. He works on those cars as much as anybody. So it's part of the reason why he's so successful. He is as detail-oriented as they come.
Well, hey, he sat second in points going into tonight, okay? So that obviously is going to be a major blow, Pike, to his bid for a 13th title. Choose cone just came out. Burt Myers chose the top side of the restart here. So did Mike Spini as he enters the fracas here on the outside, and that number 10 machine is going to be a whale of a restart here. Richie Evans, lap 61 as we come to lap 62 at the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. Back to green, and 9 went, and the 1 did not. Yellow flag is out.
And the restart will come back.
Re-rack them, restack them. Let's do this again. Chris Fleming, the showstopper, on the bottom. Burt Myers on the top. Brennan Ward, Mike Spini, Jason Myers, John. Green flag is back out, lap 63.
I could not tell if they made contact wheel to wheel between Fleming and Myers. It's ever so slight, but look at the power from the one machine on the outside, pinching Chris Fleming down, giving him nowhere to go. He can't get the run he wants off corner exit as they continue to bounce off of one another for the race lead. They're gapping Brandon Ward, and Ward single file, and now Burt Myers finally has control of the race on lap 64.
Oh my Lord, he did it from the top. That's hard to do, folks. You just saw something you don't see often at Bowman Gray, but you saw it right there. A hard charging Burt Myers in a dogfight there with the number 99 of Chris Fleming. Now a little trouble further back in the field, some cars scattering about. Burt Myers is your leader with the number 99 of Chris Fleming in second position. Third position, Brandon Ward. There is your fans' choice competitor, the number 57, then the 13 of Jordan Fleming right in front of him towards the back of this field.
Denny Bone still with work to do. Meanwhile, battle is heating up for third between Brandon Ward and Mike Spini. Jordan Fleming in the shot there too, you just saw a few moments ago, but you can see that gap there, first, second, third. So about maybe 2 or 3 car lengths between Myers and Fleming, and then back it up a little bit, and that's where you get this great battle between Brandon Ward and Mike Spini. They made big contact in the north turn just a few laps ago, and Ward was able to hang on to it, but Spini is there and knocking on the door.
Mike Spini, him and his brother Dan Spini, regular competitors here at Bowman Gray Stadium, coming to lap 70 on the scoreboard. 30 laps to go for the Brad's Golf Cars Modified Division. Brandon Ward, last year's champion, hanging on to third position right now. Spini and that military tan machine doing a great job in that Wiley X number 10, the best run for that car this year that started the season with some engine troubles.
And all 4 of the leaders beginning to gap John Holloman, whose car is fading as this race progresses. I wonder if he may have used up the tires early on in those opening 50 or 60 laps. He's got Jason Myers all over his rear bumper as they continue to bounce off of one or the other for the third spot. There's another rear bumper into Brandon Ward, another front bumper from Mike Spini. I imagine we may see more of the same here in the north turn. Ward, though, diamonds the corner, gets just enough of a run to stay away from Spini's machine, but for how long can he hold on to the third position?
I'll tell you what, right there, you saw Brandon Ward back up into him and play a defensive role there. And just when he hit him coming off the turn, he fired and gapped him. That was a veteran move by that driver. Now we look right now at the number 69 car, who has a mirror full of the number 4. Remember, they got into it a little earlier today, so that's a good battle to be watching. Great job by our Flow Racing cameras high atop the tower here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Holloman, who now just moved to Tennessee and moved there with his family and with his business, and so he's only coming back to Bowman Gray to run some of these 100 lappers. So good to see him in the 5th position right now, having a strong run in that Black Sand Company, number 69, with a mirror full of Jason Myers.
Still no change in the top 4, just ahead of this battle. So you are now watching the best battle on the racetrack, and now we're starting to see it change a little bit up front as well. Burt Myers is in control of this, 77 laps on the board, coming to 78, but Chris Fleming, as we have continued to run under green flag conditions, that car has come to life a little bit more, and this is what we're working with when we see Burt Myers. 93 career wins at the Stadium, 92 in the modifieds, almost 50 poles, and 10 track championships, trying to get win number 94. And he may get a little bit of help here because Brandon Ward all of a sudden is on the rear bumper of Chris Fleming, getting ready to make a battle for second.
Right now, it's walkaway time for Burt Myers. That car is turning, but the battle is on for the second position because Brandon Ward has turned up the wick with 20 laps to go. Now 19 laps to go. Yellow flag is out. I just saw Jason Myers in the inside on the grass. He controlled that number 4 car, got that back under control, but yellow flag is out. 81 laps down in this 100-lap feature.
He was slow, but he did not stop all the way.
So he will rejoin the field, I believe. I wonder if he'll blend.
I would think.
Probably.
With my understanding of the rule book, that you blend at the moment of caution, so wherever he was at that point.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it depends, because it looks like that car right now might not be under power.
And that would change the equation then.
Yeah, I think he's calling for a push in that car. You saw the hands motion, and here comes, I think Jimmy's in the Gator. I don't know, but usually is. But going to push the QRC HVAC and refrigeration number 4. I love that car because I love the fact that the sponsors are big on it. That's awesome.
Big, big quarter panel logo there. A, B, just a refresher for general Bowman Gray rules. If you are involved in a yellow and you stop on the racetrack, then you effectively forfeit the track position that you had, as the cone is back out on the racetrack. So we'll see drivers choose here where they come back to the start-finish line. So if you stop and you're part of a yellow, you end up going to the back of the field more often than not. Now, if you can roll through it, you can maintain your track position. But if you stop, you're going to the back, or in this case, going to pit road.
So the big choose. This is a big moment right here, because the 99 chooses the outside. This could be the crux moment of this race. That Brandon Ward is on the inside. So if he can close the gap there and fill the hole, and the 99 doesn't maybe get by Burt Myers and can't get to the bottom, that could be a big opportunity for the Q104 car, the gray car that you see on your screen. So, hey, also another thing to keep in mind, could this be the final double file restart? With 5 to go, we go single file. Green flag is back out.
Fabulous start there for Burt Myers, and a good start for Chris Fleming, too, who got to the bottom. Look at Mike speeding to the top, trying to hang on alongside Brandon Ward, who's trying to get that 3rd position and keep that gap tight on both Fleming and Myers, not only in the points, but in the race as well. Yellow flag out. Call 8-1 before you dig. Caution flag over the field one more time on that 85.
Slate Myers has spun in the north turn. There is Slate's number 6 machine.
So Slate Myers goes around. Report that the 51 machine got into him of Drew Moffitt. So contact between Moffitt
look at this
and
right
Slate
here.
Myers.
He's going to the backside of Drew Moffitt's car. He's not happy, buddy.
That tells us a little bit more of the picture, perhaps.
Oh, plot thickens. The young 4th-generation driver not happy. This is the 2nd week in a row he's spun out here in a feature event. I did not see that one, so I can't say Drew got into him. We're getting a report here that he did, though, from the tower. But last week he spun from the front bumper of Riley Neal's car. Let's look at that number 7 car, the Wagner Appliances machine. Best run of the season so far, in the 5th position right now for the Snowman, Junior Snow, who started out the season with so much promise. Engine troubles has plagued this team for all 3 weeks, including tonight. So today, going into this feature, the engine was still skipping. He was at the driver's meeting hoping, praying that the engine would not skip on this number 7. And right now, with 87 laps down on the board, that 7J sits in 5th position. This would be such a feel-good story, even if this team comes out with a top 5.
It's the momentum, I think, and just finishing where you know the car is capable of. They've had good speed every week we've been here so far to start off this campaign, and they just have not been able to translate it into finishes. There's a mental aspect of that that's so big that's on the line here for Junior Snow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's crushing. You've seen it every week in his face. You know, that car, he's got the car to do it, but the engine sputtering and skipping and all the different things that have happened. The first week he had to borrow an engine from the Clifton camp just to make the feature event for his sponsors. The choose cone was out. Chris Fleming chose the top side of Burt Myers here. Coming to the green flag, lap 89, we will come to the line. Burt Myers, the ace on the bottom, the showstopper on the top side. Here they go, the race is on into the south turn. Trouble, Fleming into the wall. The flying taco goes spinning. Everybody, mass chaos here at Bowman Gray Stadium, and the yellow flag is out.
Drew Moffitt, the other car there, as 3 cars got all into it there, and there was contact between Burt Myers and Chris Fleming, I believe, that started all that. And Fleming ends up with the worst impact there in the fence. Similar damage, I believe, to what Tim Brown had earlier, and night over most likely for a driver that had not only run in the top 5 all night, but also was 5th in points entering this evening's show. We talk about drivers that are going to take hits in the points. Tim Brown is one. Chris Fleming, now another driver that is going to lose points here. This could be a really, really big night for Burt Myers if this holds up.
This is a big swing. I think you just hit the biggest plot point of the night so far, dude. This is a huge swing for Burt Myers if he can hang on and take this win, or even finish second or third right now, the way things are panning out here. But Chris Fleming there, contact a little bit there, and he rockets into the outside wall. Good to see that Chris Fleming is okay. One of the nicest guys in this pit area, without a doubt. One of the great families of Bowman Gray Stadium history, with 44 wins for the family between Luke and Frank and Chris and Jordan. What a family here. They come here as a family, they race as a family, and they act as a family. So hard to see the night turn so south in the south turn for the driver of that 99. That Crab Smith car, that's the backup car for Chris Fleming.
I mean, at the risk of pointing out the obvious, when you look at the entries for the Fleming cars, it's always Fleming family racing, right? And that seems like a bit of an obvious statement to make, but I think to the point that you just made, Dillner, that underscores how much of a family operation this is.
Chris is climbing from his car unscathed. The veteran driver, the showstopper from Mount Airy, North Carolina. A guy that, well, let's see the Flow Racing replay, and you see it right here. Speeney gets to the back. Oh, the plot thickens. The Speeneys and Chris Fleming had it out last year. And again, a little bit of bumper tag from the 10 to the backside of Chris Fleming. Oh, boy.
So an editorial correction on my part first, then it was Speeney. I wasn't sure if it was Speeney or it was Burt, but it was Speeney
that got Mike Speeney
initially got into Chris Fleming, yeah. So we'll keep an eye here on Chris Fleming and see how he reacts out of the car here, walking towards the Midway Mobile Storage track cleanup unit, that handy gator that we see commonly.
Talking to the fans. Look at that.
Right.
Interacting with the fans.
And you're that close that you could, if he said something and or if they said something, you could hear him. You could absolutely hear him. So he'll take the ride in the Midway Mobile Storage Unit machine, head back to the pits. They'll get that car cleaned up, and eventually we will restart. Another point here in all this that I have been thinking about for a good chunk of the evening, if you're Brandon Ward, knowing the kind of race that some of the other championship competitors have had, you go back and you look at what he did last year, and it was all about making the best out of days where you might not necessarily have had the best car. Burt had the fastest machine on plenty of occasions, but Brandon Ward won the championship because even when Burt won, he was second, he was third, he was fourth. Yep. So how much of this is a form of damage control and not losing too much ground to Burt Myers? Because Burt had his incidents too, and that's why Burt didn't win the title. He probably had the fastest car in most races, but consistency can get it done. And even though he didn't win a race, he won the title. So how much do you go back to that mindset if you're Brandon Ward, I think, is a big question to ask here in the final 10 laps of this.
Well, he's got to win this year. So Burt Myers has always said he's going for wins here. And if the championship happens, the championship happens. Brandon Ward has a win so far this year. So, you know, I don't know if I don't think he's going to lay down for this one. Let's just say that. Of course, this could be the final double file restart. So he doesn't know after this restart if he's going to have another chance. So he's got to make things happen here. This is your time. Let's go to quick break here. Quick break as they tow double hook. God, I love seeing the double hook. I hate to see that on a race car, but if you're a tow truck fan, the double hook is pretty cool. Let's go to a quick break on Flow Racing. We'll be back with the last 10 laps of the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. We are back live on Flow Racing for NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series action. The choose cone is out. Burt Myers on the inside, Brandon Ward on the outside. Third place is the Snowman, Junior Snow, Mike Spini. In fifth place, John Holloman, coming to 7 laps to go. This time by what will probably be the final double file restart. Will it be the last restart? We will see. This is the big plot point. This could decide it all. Green flag is out of the north turn. Myers, Ward, side by side. They go into the south turn. The fans are on their feet right now as Myers starts to gap him, and a spin in the rear of the field. The 0-0, the flying taco, has spun in the salsa.
Steady Probst goes around in the south turn. Yellow flag comes out back again. And Brandon Ward had one of the better restarts of the evening for anyone on the outside, but not enough. I'm not sure if he checked up because he saw the yellow was coming or whether or not Burt just got that run off of 2 that's been so dominant. But Brandon Ward was able to stay alongside. That's worth noting, I think.
Slate Myers also involved in that incident there in the south turn, and that took the air out of the lungs of much of these fans, because seeing those two great rivals side by side through the south turn was something else there to see. You know, you got to love it when Brandon Ward and Burt Myers put on a show like they just did for you before that caution flag came out.
So setting up the field, scoring them here. Good look at Brandon Ward's machine. Fun nugget here for the Randy Butner fans watching on Flow Racing. This is his 725th start of the evening. Third most all-time at the stadium behind Junior Miller, who has 755, and Alfred Hill, who's got 728. So he'll, in all likelihood, take over second on the all-time starts list at some point later in the season.
God, you got to love that. Randy Butner, I just love watching him race, and love watching him sit in the back of his trailer, his hauler there in the pit area. It's just when you come here and you walk in, you see, you know, Jimmy Johnson, you see Alfred Hill, you see, you see Randy Butner. You know, I miss seeing Puddin' Swisher in the pit area. I think he's watching tonight on Flow Racing. There's so many great veterans that have raced Bowman Gray Stadium Wars, and once you're a hero here and you're a competitor here, it's in your veins, and you don't leave this place. You come back to this place because it's a truly special place, and it's truly special to have a racing division with great veterans like this. And 95 laps on the board. The last 5 laps, we were told in the drivers' meeting, we're going to be single file, but guess what? We're going double file, because guess what? As Ben Dodge would say, double file will make you smile. Well, the fans are smiling. I don't know if Burt Myers is, but we're going back to green with what will be 4 laps to go coming to the green. 5 currently right now, so that's, I believe, why they did it. But here it goes. Myers doesn't go. A little bit of gamesmanship right there between the two crafty veterans, and we will re-rack them. No choose cone needed. Oh boy, you gotta love it.
Hold your breath. Here we go.
The fans are on their feet. I'm getting on my feet because this is gonna be a show right here. The two rivals side by side, Nerf bar to Nerf bar in the south turn, a sideways snowman, but all eyes are on the battle for the lead.
Burt gets it. Will Brandon Ward use the bumper to try and uproot Burt Myers as Jordan Fleming goes into the grass a little bit further back. All sorts of trouble on the front straightaway.
The
and
snowman.
Now Fleming around, you see on your screens.
Junior Snow has crashed here on the front stretch. Some severe damage to the left rear of that car. John Holloman's car as well has damage. The bid for a top 5 for Junior Snow is over. Snow climbing from his Wagner appliances, number 7J, and he is not happy.
I believe that was the number 2 that I saw him. If I'm reading that correctly, just with my eyes, that's something along the lines of, Mike Spini, that's the second time you've gotten into me tonight?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. He was not happy with Spini. Neither was Chris Fleming. So Junior Snow, man, this team needed a good run. They have been working so hard. The first night, they were here overnight working on their race car. This is a team that's been working overnight. This isn't a kid that just goes out and goes, hey, we're going to go to this motor builder and pay all this big money. This kid and his father and the crew have been working on their motor themselves to get this thing diagnosed, to get it right. So there is the long walk for Junior Snow. Keep it on it. Keep it on it.
So where
Snow is not happy.
Where does he go?
He's a guy that he's not going to do the helmet toss. Back to Snow. Back to Snow. Back to Snow.
Here we go. What does
No,
Junior
he's
Snow
not going to do anything.
Nothing?
He's a smart kid right there.
Nothing? Okay.
Junior Snow is not a hothead. You know, obviously, well noted what happened in the last race last year. But he was even upset about that because that's, like he's told me several times, not the way he likes to race. And you saw it there, controlling his emotions very well. And there is Chris Fleming also, who was not happy with Mike Speeney before. And Fleming is by the outside of the gate there, overlooking things. 100 laps are now completed. We will go single file to this restart once we get the cars cleaned up right here. And there is Fleming having a conversation with some folks here.
The list of people that are not happy with Mike Speeney has grown considerably tonight.
Christmas card list, no more.
Could be a fun one to watch next week.
I mean, hey, the plot thickens. My mother, okay, when I'd come home from school, she would have the Young and the Restless on the TV, okay? Like, you know, like a lot of us mothers, General Hospital, whatever it is. Bowman Gray Stadium, people liken this place to wrestling. I think that's hogwash, okay? Bowman Gray Stadium is a pure racing facility. This place is amazing. The plot points and the drama that happen here just happen. You're racing around a football field with 15,000 people tonight, maybe 14,000 people tonight. The energy that this place brings out of race car drivers, the emotion that it brings out of race car drivers naturally makes it a soap opera. You don't have to add a magical elixir to make that happen. This place has drama at every corner and crevice of the famed quarter mile.
Sports, the greatest drama ever broadcasted on television, or in our case,
Sports
on the Flow Sports app.
Hey.
Or on your TV, or on your computer, or on your mobile device, or wherever you may be watching.
I know I work for Flow, but I love it because last night, Friday night, I got to watch the Spring Sizzler from Stafford Motor Speedway, my home track that I grew up at. I got to watch the High Limit Series, High Limit Racing. It was so cool last night to go to bed watching that stuff. The platform has great pavement racing, has great dirt racing. USAC. Huge, watching all the USAC midget and Silver Crown and sprint car races. I'm sorry if this sounds like an advertisement. It's not. I'm a motorsports fan. If you're watching this right now, you're like me. You and me are just alike. I'm just a larger version maybe of you. And I love racing. And you get to watch so many different forms of racing. Marshalltown, the IMCA stock cars, just some of the coolest racing I've ever seen. I've never watched a snowmobile race until I watched Flow Racing. My God, that stuff is cool.
It's crazy. Now, I was in the backyard last night with the family dog, Lily, little about 12-pound.
Does Lily like Flow?
Lily was watching Flow, was
sweet.
watching the broadcast 2 weeks ago, as a matter of fact. So got a picture of it on X.
Oh, that's right. I saw that.
But had Lily out in her little fenced-in spot in the backyard and had Flow up. And we were watching the end of the Sizzler, and I was tossing a ball to her in one hand and watching Flow Racing in the other. So these are the sorts of situations in which you can watch Flow, and I think a great example of how accessible Flow is, that you don't have to be locked into a TV per se to watch it. It's a little bit bigger and better than TV, but you don't have to be on one, and that's the great thing about it.
You be on your phone, me and my buddies would be at a racetrack, and we're watching other events on Flow, which is kind of cool.
Right.
But anyway, you see the Snowman's number 7, the DL Outfitters Wagner Appliances machine getting the cradle, the double hook, which I love. I hate seeing that for race car drivers, but it's an art form. That's not hard. That's not easy for a tow truck driver. One's got to lead the charge. The other has to back up. You don't want to rip the car apart. There is a true art to what you're seeing, folks, and kids loved it. I loved it as a kid. But let's set it up here. That caution flag happened. Now we're still counting laps. We're actually technically coming to lap 105. That means we're in, as the noobs say, overtime. We are past the scheduled distance of this 100-lap Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. So it's going to be a green-white checker finish for the NASCAR Brad's Golf Cars Modifieds. Single file. Burt Myers has to make sure he doesn't expose his entry and sticks it on the bottom.
The first time this race has gone into green, white checker territory since 2018. So 6 years.
God, I love Justin Mincy. Justin Mincy is from Thomasville, North Carolina, and not original. His family has roots in Tennessee, and I met Justin Mincy in the grandstands here because I was a fan too. I used to come to the Madhouse here as we go to One to Go and sit section 9 on the bottom. Just 2 sections over for me was this guy named Justin Mincy, who I met on the internet, who is a crazy passion for motorsports, but in particular the famed quarter mile here. And now he and I, great friends, but we get to hang out here with Pike and Hope back here in the Flow Racing booth and get to see some of the best racing on the planet. And folks, speaking of that racing, we're going to tick lap 106 as we come back to green for the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. Burt Myers fires the loud pedal. Green flag is out. 2 more laps to go.
There are jumps, and then there was what Burt Myers got clear by a car like the Brandon Ward. Speedy is there in third, but this is all Brandon Ward and Burt Myers back to the line. White flag out.
Walnut Cove, the driver, deeply rooted in stadium history. And tonight, coming off the north turn, win number 94 for the ace, Burt Myers. He does it in the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. Second place to Brandon Ward, Mike Speedy in third position. The 57 of Danny Bone makes it to fourth on that final restart. Danny Bone wins $3,000 in the Fans Challenge. What a night. Danny Bone, $3,000 richer, and Burt Myers is your winner.
Did anybody think that Danny Bowman was going to be able to pull that off when the right rear was smoking?
Lap.
Yeah, when it was all torn to pieces. So Danny Bone gets a little moment here too. The big story, of course, is Burt Myers. But credit to Danny Bone for being persistent. As you'll see Slate come in here, and it will be a father and son victory lap around Bowman Gray. How special that has to be for Burt too.
What a great night, because we had drama, we had action. Danny Bone winning the Fans Challenge, $3,000 bonus, and the 94th win for one of the greatest drivers to ever grip a steering wheel at the famed quarter mile. 228 career wins for this great family, the Myers family, originally hailing from the great state of Virginia, calling their home for years now and generations in North Carolina, and pulling into victory lane is that peanut patch #1. Wow, what a moment. Now the mob scene commences here in victory lane for the popular winner of the Kevin Powell Motorsports 100. Let's go down to Randy Pulliam.
Burt's hit the trifecta so far in terms of points this season. He took the 50 points in the season opener 2 weeks ago. He had the best average finishes in the twin bill to take the 50 points. He takes it again tonight as he picks up win number 2 on the season. Burt Myers, ladies and gentlemen, let him hear it. Burt, I don't want to shortchange you, buddy. We're under some time constraints. Win number 93. That was on a round. No, you didn't want to see that caution flag come out with about 5 laps to go.
Yeah, once you get in the lead, you don't want to see any cautions on these double foul restarts. I'll make it quick as possible. I want to thank Citrus Safe, Peanut Patch, Backyard Leisure, Greg Butcher, PSR 1-2 tonight, Haviland Express, Bubba Speed Shop, Philip Smith, NASCAR Institute, BP Fuels, Walker Town Girls Softball, REMJ, Little Donuts. Almost 100, baby. We're getting
almost there. Number 93, and Burt will make his way over to the Carolina Wood Floors Winner's Circle to pick up some hardware. Coming up next.
Oh, wow. Burt Myers with his 93rd career modified win, 94th all-time at the famed quarter mile as he gets the trophy and the checkered flag. Let's take a quick break because we're coming back with the street stocks. You're not going to want to miss it. Will Zach Staley light up the Madhouse again?
Winston-Salem, North Carolina is a city with a rich history of reinventing itself. Here you can wine and dine back in time, or raise a glass to the future. Witness history in the making, or savor the present moment. That's why you'll love visiting Winston-Salem. Our past is present, our future is bright, and our city is yours to explore. Look forward. Travel back to Winston-Salem.